Hey, Jon Mathisen from RotoBaller here, and today we're going to be talking about 4 of my favorite DST sleeper targets for your upcoming fantasy football drafts. All 4 of these teams are currently ranked outside of the top 15 according to Fantasy Pros expert consensus rankings. The first team I'm going to discuss is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they were the definition of a bend but don't break defense last season. They were 24th in yards allowed, but 12th in points allowed. They didn't really lose anybody either. They lost outside linebacker Arden Key, but that was it. So they're really relying on the development of their young core to take another step forward. Devin Lloyd, stud linebacker, 115 tackles last year. He forced 5 turnovers. Trayvon Walker kind of had an up and down season, but the draft pedigree speaks for itself. And Josh Allen, he had 7 sacks last year, but I'm looking for him to take another step forward. The number one thing I like about this defense is their schedule to open the season. 6 of the first 8 games are pretty easy. They get the Colts twice. That's potentially a rookie quarterback under center in Anthony Richardson. They get Houston, another rookie quarterback. They get Pittsburgh, and they get Atlanta. So that's their 6 of their first 8. Pretty nice. But you could draft these guys with your last pick and just confidently start them, I think, in 6 of the first 8 weeks. Moving on to my second sleeper, that's the Seattle Seahawks. Now, they were 26th in yards allowed last season and 25th in points allowed. Not great in either metric, and they were awful against the run. They would just get gashed repeatedly on the ground. But that's because they had a new defensive coordinator last season, Clint Hurt. He brought with him a 3-4 base defense, which is a switch from the traditional 4-3 that they would always run. They didn't quite have the personnel to fit it, but they brought in Draymond Jones from Denver, linebackers Devin Bush, Jerron Reed, a former Seahawk himself, a defensive tackle, and Bobby Wagner, longtime Seahawk legend. He's back with the team. So kind of older players, but still highly productive. I also think Jamal Adams could still contribute to this team. He's currently on the PUP list, has a chance to be activated. I love the Devin Witherspoon draft pick by the Seahawks. He was the highest drafted DB in the Pete Carroll era. You pair him with Tariq Woolen on the other side. He was tied for the league lead last year with 6 interceptions. He was a Pro Bowler. And you got Quandre Diggs in the back end too at safety. They also signed Julian Love from the Giants. They got a lot of playmakers on this side of the ball, and I think the offense is going to be better than they were last year. They caught a lot of people off guard and surprised some folks. My third sleeper is the Atlanta Falcons. Same reason why I like the Jags is why I like the Falcons. They have the second easiest schedule in the NFL per Warren Sharp of Sharp Football Analysis. They were kind of a whatever unit last year. Did not get a lot of turnovers, did not get a lot of sacks, but they've addressed their deficiencies, I think, via free agency. They signed Calais Campbell to shore up the defensive line. They drafted Zach Harrison, an edge rusher out of Ohio State, and they signed Jesse Bates at safety. They did lose Isaiah Oliver, the corner. They lost him in free agency, so I'm a little worried about their pass defense, but I think they just overall will be a better unit, much improved. You gotta love the schedule, and I think their offense actually could surprise some folks. Arthur Smith, head coach, loves to pound the rock. They drafted Bijan Robinson. You pair him with Tyler Algier. I think they could really control the clock and time possession, which should only benefit the defense. For my fourth and final DST sleeper, we're sticking in the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers. Now, they ranked in the bottom half in pretty much any metric that matters defensively, points allowed and yards allowed particularly. They were towards the bottom half of the league. But the reason why I like them this year is the same reason why I like the Falcons, and that's their schedule. According to Warren Sharp, they have the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL this upcoming season, so that's always a good sign. We want to be looking at strength of schedule if we're talking about, deep sleeper, streaming type defenses. And I like what they did. They just signed Justin Houston, veteran. They could play on the line. Pair him with Brian Burns and rookie DJ Johnson. They could have a pretty good pass rush. They had 35 sacks last season. Their back end was banged up too. J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, Jeremy Chin all missed games. Horn in 13 games had a career high 3 interceptions last year too. So I really like their secondary. And you have the ever-present veteran Shaq Thompson there at linebacker. So they have a nice blend of youth and experience at all 3 levels. And also, this team was just hamstrung by a bad offense last year. They had P.J. Walker, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold all taking snaps under center. But now, Bryce Young, I understand he's a rookie, but you have sort of a quarterback whisperer, Frank Reich, coaching him, and that could just help raise the tide of this team. And just take a look at their schedule, play the matchups. I like the Carolina Panthers. So to recap, my 4 top DST sleepers for this upcoming fantasy football season. Number 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really like their young core. And I love their schedule to start the season, particularly 6 of those first 8 games that we talked about earlier. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. Definitely a tougher schedule, but I think they have playmakers at all 3 levels, and I think the overall team will take a step forward this year, offense and defense. My 3rd team, the Atlanta Falcons. I think team context has improved, especially on the offensive side of the ball, which should only help the defense, and I love their schedule. My 4th and final team is the Carolina Panthers. Definitely more of a matchup-based defense, but I think the team context has improved with them as well, especially getting a new head coach in Frank Reich. Rookie quarterback Bryce Young should help the offensive side of the ball, and I think they have playmakers at all 3 levels as well. So once again, thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at EasyMath. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe to RotoBaller's YouTube channel for more great fantasy football analysis. Thanks, and see you later.